Want a garden full of flowers all season? Try these 8 beautiful plants.
Plant nurseries secretly hope you never find out about these 8 specific plants. Why? Because once you plant them in your garden, just one single time, you will practically never have to go back to their store to buy new starter plants, expensive seed packets, or endless bags of mulch ever again. Every single year, over 90% of gardeners drain their wallets trying to cover bare dirt, battle invasive weeds, and replace dead annuals. But today, you are going to discover 8 self-seeding powerhouse plants that naturally drop their own seeds, carpet your ground with lush living mulch, and bring your entire garden bursting back to life, season after season with zero extra effort, and without spending another dime. Imagine walking out into your yard next spring and finding your garden beds already filled with healthy, vibrant growth before you've even touched a shovel or spent a single dollar at the garden center. When you let the right plants take over the job of reseeding, you create a dense canopy of living mulch that completely shades out stubborn weeds, locks valuable moisture deep in the ground, and feeds your soil microbes as the old foliage breaks down. You don't have to keep buying sterile, dyed wood chips to protect bare dirt, when nature will do it for you with beautiful, productive flowers and herbs. The secret lies in knowing which specific varieties reseed politely without becoming destructive, aggressive weeds. And today, you'll learn the exact countdown to turn your yard into a self-renewing paradise. The best part about working with self-seeding plants is that you're simply cooperating with how plants have naturally survived for thousands of years. Instead of fighting the natural life cycle by constantly deadheading, cutting everything back to bare dirt, and disturbing the soil with heavy tillers, you simply step back and let these plants finish their natural cycle. They flower, produce seed heads, drop those seeds right where they belong, and lie dormant until the temperature and moisture levels are perfectly tuned for germination. It's the ultimate low-maintenance gardening hack for anyone who wants a stunning yard without spending all weekend doing yard work. Before we dive into our very first self-seeding champion, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way, you'll never miss out on practical, time-saving gardening strategies that help you grow more while working less. Our first self-seeding powerhouse is one you can actually eat from flower to leaf: the incredible Nasturtium. If you have open, bare ground between your raised beds, under fruit trees, or around your vegetable rows, nasturtiums are the ultimate problem solver. These vigorous growers produce trailing, umbrella-shaped leaves and bright, edible blooms that quickly sprawl across the soil surface, forming a thick, moisture-trapping blanket that suffocates weed seeds before they even have a chance to see the sun. Beyond acting as living mulch, nasturtiums serve as an exceptional trap crop. Aphids, cabbage moths, and flea beetles are naturally attracted to their peppery leaves, pulling destructive pests away from your prized tomatoes and brassicas. Here is the best part. As autumn approaches, each nasturtium flower develops 3 large, wrinkled green seed pods. Instead of gathering them all in packets, simply let them fall naturally to the ground. Those large seeds will nestle beneath the dying foliage, survive the winter cold, and sprout reliably the moment the soil warms up in the spring. Just avoid giving them high nitrogen fertilizer, or you will end up with massive leaves and fewer flowers. Now, if you want a plant that works just as hard above the ground while secretly cleansing your soil beneath the surface, this next one is an absolute must-have. That brings us to our second self-seeder, often called the ultimate garden doctor: Calendula or pot marigold. Unlike common French or African marigolds that require careful seed harvesting, true Calendula officinalis is a powerhouse self-sower that thrives in almost any garden soil. Its thick, sunny blossoms produce resinous compounds that deter pests, and its root exudates actually help balance the soil microbiome and suppress harmful root knot nematodes. The real magic of Calendula lies in its seed mechanism. As the vibrant flowers fade, they form curious, curved, claw-like seed heads. When left alone, these dry clusters scatter across the soil surface in late summer. Because Calendula seeds are frost-hardy, They easily overwinter under light garden debris and volunteer during early spring, often blooming weeks before any nursery-bought annuals even hit store shelves. To maximize its soil covering power, lightly chop back the parent plants in late autumn after the seeds have dropped, leaving the stalks right on the ground as organic cover. You'll be rewarded with a lush, golden carpet year after year, with practically zero maintenance. Moving on to our third powerhouse plant, we have borage, widely known among experienced gardeners as the ultimate pollinator magnet and dynamic accumulator. If your garden suffers from compacted, tired soil, or lacks pollinator activity, borage is a game changer. It grows large, fuzzy leaves and produces stunning, star-shaped electric blue flowers that honeybees and bumblebees simply cannot resist. What makes borage a stellar self-seeding mulch plant is its deep taproot. This root system acts like a biological drill, plunging deep into the subsoil to mine essential minerals like potassium and calcium, pulling them up into the plant's tissue. When the growing season ends, borage drops thousands of hard, nutty seeds directly onto the surrounding earth, while its massive leaves collapse to form a rich, nutrient-dense green manure right where it stands. Those dropped seeds lie quietly through winter frosts, erupting into vigorous seedlings by mid-spring. Because borage can grow quite large, often reaching 3 feet tall and wide, you only need a few initial plants to establish a self-sustaining cycle. Whenever a volunteer pops up in a spot you didn't plan for, you can easily pull it, or chop and drop it back onto the bed to instantly enrich your topsoil. Speaking of plants that blanket the ground and keep maintenance low, our next recommendation takes living mulch to an entirely new level. Our fourth self-seeding champion is Sweet Alyssum, hands down, one of the absolute best living carpets you can grow. If you're tired of bare, exposed dirt between your stepping stones, garden borders, or vegetable beds, Sweet Alyssum solves that problem instantly. It stays low to the ground, rarely growing more than 6 inches tall, and spreads out horizontally to form a dense, honey-scented blanket of tiny white, pink, or purple blooms. This low-growing habit creates a living shield over the earth. It lowers soil temperatures in the peak of summer, slows water evaporation to a crawl, and blocks light from reaching weed seeds underneath. On top of that, Sweet Alyssum is famous for attracting hoverflies and tiny parasitic wasps, the exact natural predators that keep destructive garden aphids under control. The secret to keeping Sweet Alyssum going forever is doing absolutely nothing in late fall. Each tiny blossom produces minute seed capsules that shower directly into the topsoil. Because the seeds are tiny, they easily find moisture cracks in the ground, survive freezing temperatures, and re-emerge like clockwork every single spring. Just avoid burying your beds under inches of heavy wood chips in winter, and you will have an effortless, fragrant ground cover year after year. Now, before we get to our next 4 incredible self-seeders, including one plant that literally explodes its own seeds across dry, neglected ground, I'd love to hear from you. Do you already have a favorite volunteer plant that surprises you by popping up year after year in your garden beds? Drop a comment down below and share your experience with the community. If you're enjoying these practical, hands-off gardening strategies, take a second to hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed. Your support helps us create more comprehensive guides that save you time, money, and labor in the garden. Coming in at number 5 is the remarkably resilient California poppy. If you have poor, rocky, sandy, or neglected patches of soil where almost nothing else seems to survive without constant irrigation, this is your answer. California poppies thrive in the exact conditions that make other garden plants struggle. They produce feathery, blue-green foliage topped with brilliant cups of golden orange petals that open with the morning sun and close in the evening. What makes the California poppy such an elite self-sower is its ingenious seed dispersal mechanism. Once the flowers fade, they develop long, slender seed pods. As the summer heat dries these pods, tension builds up until they literally spring open with an audible snap, launching tiny, dark seeds several feet in all directions. This natural seed launch guarantees an effortless, widespread ground cover that returns season after season. Because they have taproots designed to reach deep moisture reserves, volunteer poppies easily survive intense dry spells and protect bare hillsides from wind and water erosion. The only mistake you can make is overwatering them or planting them in soggy, waterlogged soil. Keep them in full sun and well-draining dirt, and they will carpet your beds automatically. Our sixth self-seeding marvel is an old-world cottage favorite with an unforgettable look. Nigella, often called love in a mist. If you want a plant that delivers delicate beauty, excellent weed suppression, and completely automatic reseeding, Nigella checks every single box. It grows with finely cut, thread-like green foliage that looks like soft mist surrounding jewel-toned blooms in shades of sky blue, soft pink, and pure white. That dense, misty foliage grows tightly together, shading the soil beneath and locking in moisture during the transition from cool spring into early summer. But the real show begins after the petals drop. Each flower transforms into an extraordinary, puffed-up, balloon-like seed capsule, adorned with decorative purple-tinted stripes and horn-like tips. Inside each ornamental pod are dozens of jet black, highly viable seeds. When left on the plant to dry in late summer, the pods open tiny vents at the top. As the breeze shakes the stems, seeds scatter across the bed like a natural salt shaker. These volunteer seedlings easily handle cold winter soil and germinate in early spring without a single minute of indoor seed starting effort. Now, while Nigella handles the mid-level layer of your garden, this next plant grows taller to create an entire canopy of living mulch above your beds. Plant number 7 is one of the easiest, fastest, and most rewarding self-seeders you can ever introduce to your yard: the ever-reliable Cosmos. While many low-growing self-seeders hug the ground, Cosmos acts as an upper-story living umbrella. Reaching anywhere from 3 to 5 feet tall, its fine, ferny foliage expands into a dense canopy that casts cooling shade over bare soil below. This filtered shade prevents high summer sun from baking your topsoil dry and keeps aggressive weed seeds in permanent dormancy. Cosmos blooms relentlessly from midsummer right through the first hard frost of autumn, continuously feeding native bees, butterflies, and beneficial predatory insects. The reseeding mechanism here is as foolproof as it gets. Each single flower head forms a dark, spiky cluster of slender, curved seeds called achenes. When the plant naturally dries at the end of the season, thousands of these seeds tumble to the soil surface. They sit comfortably through snow and freezing winter temperatures, waiting for the warm soil of late spring to trigger explosive new growth. If they pop up too thickly in spring, you simply thin out the extras by snapping them at the base and laying the young shoots directly on the soil as nutrient-rich mulch. Our eighth and final self-seeding powerhouse is the virtually indestructible perennial champion, yarrow. If you want a plant that builds long-term soil stability while giving you a lifetime of free coverage, yarrow is unbeatable. It produces low mounds of dense, aromatic, fern-like green foliage that stay green for most of the year, sending up sturdy stems topped with broad, flat-topped flower clusters in white, yellow, pink, or deep red. Yarrow attacks the problem of bare, eroding soil from two directions at once. Beneath the surface, its fibrous root network knits loose soil together, preventing erosion and opening pathways for air and moisture. Above the surface, its dense basal foliage hugs the ground tightly, forming an evergreen mat that smothers competing weeds. Unlike many delicate flowers, yarrow's broad flower heads hold onto their seeds late into autumn. As winter winds batter the dry stalks, the tiny seeds disperse across surrounding beds. Because yarrow is a true perennial that also self-seeds prolifically, you get double the security the established mother plants return bigger every spring, while a fresh generation of volunteer seedlings fills in every remaining bare spot in your yard. Now that you know which 8 plants can do the heavy lifting in your yard, There is one crucial rule you must follow to make this entire hands-off system work seamlessly: the lazy gardener's reseeding protocol. The single biggest mistake gardeners make with self-seeding plants is being too clean in late autumn. If you go into your garden with pruners and chop down every dead plant to the ground before the seed heads dry, you eliminate next year's free flowers before they even hit the dirt. Always wait until the stems are crisp, brown, and brittle before you lightly clear the beds. The second mistake is burying your garden under 3 to 4 inches of heavy, suffocating wood chips, or tilling the topsoil in early spring. Tiny self-sown seeds need contact with bare earth and a little sunlight to germinate. Instead of heavy tilling, simply let the fallen seeds settle. Cover them with a very light dusting of loose compost or leaf mold in late fall, and leave the soil undisturbed. When the first warm days of spring arrive, you'll notice thousands of tiny, healthy seedlings emerging, naturally giving you a lush, living mulch that costs you absolutely $0 and saves you hundreds of hours of backbreaking labor. By introducing these 8 self-seeding champions: Nasturtium, Calendula, borage, sweet alyssum, California poppy, nigella, cosmos, and yarrow, you completely change how your garden works. You stop spending money every spring on replacement plants. You eliminate the need for costly bagged mulch, and you let nature handle the weeding, moisture retention, and soil building for you. Start by introducing just 2 or 3 of these varieties this season. Let them bloom, allow them to set seed, and watch how effortlessly your garden transforms into a vibrant, self-sustaining paradise next year. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more smart, low-maintenance gardening strategies, and check out our other guides right on the screen. Happy gardening, and we'll see you in the next one.